Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, dear friends, dear viewers. In today's video, we'll continue checking the games of World Rapid Chess Championship, surprising results, unexpected results of World Rapid Chess Championship. Let's go. Let's find them together. So already I checked first two rounds. Not all the games, but some of them, at least first 30 boards. And now we are in round 3, and let's start. Yes, in my YouTube channel you can find first 5 games of Magnus Carlsen, so that's why I'm not going to check Magnus's game. Deak drew against MVL, Levon drew against Zaven. Of course, Levon was the favorite of this game, but I don't think draw outcome was very surprising. And of course, here we are. We see that Alexander Lenderman won with the white pieces against Nodirbek Abdusatorov. Let's go. Knight f6, knight f3, b6, e3. Yes, g3 and knight c3 are the moves. Bishop b7, bishop d3, c5, short castle, g6. Wow. Dubious line, move by Nodirbek. Oh yes, d5 move is already working. He takes d, c takes d, I guess. So knight c3, bishop g7, e4, takes, short castle, bishop e3, d6, rook c1, a6, bishop b1, knight bd7, b3. White is tiny better, not much. Queen d2, rook e8, rook d1, and here Nodirbek could go knight g4, and yes, but he didn't. Yes, knight g4, bishop g5, f6. He played queen e7, bishop g5, knight c5, f3, rook d8, knight e2, queen c7, queen f4, queen e7, queen h4, and knight d5, bishop d5, c takes d, b5, king h1, knight e7, queen e1, queen f8, with the ideas bishop h6, queen d2, stopping bishop h6, queen a5. Why not bishop h6? I guess because of bishop f6. Yes, earlier bishop h6 also was. Yes, here it was possible because knight is on d7. Bishop c2, queen d2 back, and eventually b4, and bishop b3, and rook takes, rook c1, rook takes, queen c3, queen b8, queen c6, queen a7, queen d6, and here bishop f8, queen c6, queen f2. Black doesn't have any problems. And now knight g1, queen takes a6, queen c8, and queen c2. And white is much better. Of course, not winning, but much better. And this is already knight h3. Bishop h6, d6, or d6 would have been better. Yes, king h7. But we see that Nodirbek goes king g8, d6, with the ideas knight g5, takes queen g5, attacking the pawn on g6, bishop f8, queen g6, and then bishop f7, and then bishop b3 back, bishop e3 back, and this, and bishop g1. This check takes, and here Nodirbek Abdusatorov resigned. Yes, of course, Alexander Lenderman played very good game without much inaccuracies. Yes, Nodirbek at some point had around equal position, but he did not manage to find all the best moves. Dominguez won with the white pieces against Niemann. And we see that Sam Sevian won against Arjun with the black pieces. Let's go and check this game. Yes, this I saw bishop f4, knight e4, rook c1, and here, yes, knight c6 is one move, queen e7 is another, knight d7, e3. Yes, I know this knight d2 move, knight c3, b takes c, bishop a3, and knight b6. So e3, g5, bishop e5, and here short castle is possible option, but most likely Sam knew this knight e5, knight takes e5, queen f6, queen c2, knight takes c3, takes bishop d6, and here Arjun could go c4 or knight f3 or h4. He played bishop d3. This move Engine doesn't like much, but he also doesn't like Engine also doesn't like here short castle move. Yes, just c4, and white is having some compensation. Bishop e6, rook b1, b6, and king h1. g4, long castle would have been better. King e7, d takes c, queen a5, very good move. Queen c5. Yes, here queen takes c5, b takes cf5, bishop c4, but black is of course much better. Queen c4, rook d6, queen takes a2, queen e4, rook e1, f takes c, f takes c. This is winning for black. King c8. Yes, Arjun sacrifices the pawn on c file to open up the file. Queen g5, queen c2. Yes, position is completely lost for Arjun Erigaisi. Yes, let's just go till the end of the game. Of course, white doesn't have any chances. For some reason, Arjun kept playing this position. Yes, and Sam started pushing the pawn, and queen g2 takes, this b3, and this is of course completely lost. And here Arjun resigned. We do have Safarli won with the white pieces against Pragg. And I just want to pay your attention on this move, g3. Earlier, honestly speaking, I did not see this g3 move. Yes, knight c6, bishop g2, queen b5, stopping short castle, a4, queen a6, bishop f1, queen a5, bishop g2, and here Pragg could go queen a6, but he decided to continue the game. e5, short castle, bishop e6, c3, d takes c, b takes c, knight f6, rook b1, queen c7, queen e2, and here very ambitious move, long castle, probably huge inaccuracy or even mistake. Just bishop d6 or rook c8. Yes, already after long castle evaluation is 1.1, rook e1. Yes, knight c4 would have been even stronger. Bishop f5, rook b7, and here queen b7, knight e5, rook d6. But Pragg did not manage to. Of course, he saw it, but for some reason he played king takes b7 and knight e5. This is already lost. He went knight d5, check, knight takes c6, bishop c5 takes, rook e5. Yes, white is up a piece, and black does not have any counter anything. Yes, we see that Anish won against Tigran Petrosyan, Haik Martirosyan drew against Dubov. We see that Sindarov both game ended in a draw. Shant Sargsyan won against Vasily Ivanchuk. Yes, and what's the rating? Yes, Shant has 2601 rapid rating, and Ivanchuk does have 2647. Murzin won against Bortnik. Sadvani Ronak won against Lu Shanlei. We see that Daniel Narodzitsky drew the game. Vei drew the game. Alan Pichot drew the game. Hikaru drew. Duda won with the white pieces. We see that Mamedyarov won with the black pieces. Denis Lazavik lost against Alexander Grishuk. Vokhidov Onishuk game ended in a draw. Durar Bailey won against Oparin. Sarana drew against Kobalia. We see that probably can check maybe this one. Salem lost against Andy Woodward. Bloomfeld. Bishop g5, queen d7. She takes this, she takes the rook c1, rook c1, rook c8, rook c8, queen c8, h4, bishop a6, takes h5, knight g3, bishop e3 back, f5, takes, h takes g, knight e2, king f7. Yes, position is around equal, probably slightly preferable for black. And now black is pushing the pawns. And a5. And e5. Yes, if you take d takes c, most likely queen f4 and then bishop e5 comes. And then black is pushing a and b pawns. He takes d, but now black is simply pawn up. Knight e7, very classy move, protecting the pawn on g6. And g5, nothing is working for Salem. Knight g8, bishop e5 was much stronger. Yes, if queen f6, knight f6, bishop g5, then of course black will push a and b pawns at some point. Let's see, did Salem get any chances or not really? Maybe not really. Yes, bishop c3. Yes, b1, queen c4, so this. Solomon lost. Zemlyansky lost with the white pieces against Ray Robson. And we see that Gelfand drew against Svan Rasmus won. And we see that Brandon Jacobson has won against Meyer. So this can be interesting. 2200 player drew against Boris Gelfand, but of course, if I'm not mistaken, Adelard has much higher rating in classical. Time control, Jobava London, this, e3, knight f3, knight a3, c4, takes, yes, very solid game, not much to say. Maybe Gelfand is slightly better. Not much. Not much. Okay, round 4. And which results are we having? Dominguez won against Safarli. Of course, we should check this game. Shant Sargsyan won with the white pieces against Anish Giri. Yes, e5. d4 is another option. This, bishop d7, bishop e2, knight e7, short castle, knight g6, rook e1, bishop e7, bishop d3. Yes, a6, bishop e3, c4, bishop c2, short castle, knight bd2, b5. White is slightly better, even maybe much better. f5, e takes f, g takes f, and some knight h4, queen g4, king h8, queen h4. If knight g6, we just take, probably takes, king h8, and some ideas are there. So h4, anyway, white is better, queen b1, and rook f7, very classy move by Anish. Otherwise, queen b1 was very strong. And here we see h5, knight e7, knight h4. Shant goes bishop h6, knight e7. Black is already better. The position seems quite complicated. And Shant goes b3 and just queen c7. Anish plays it, a4. And here before b takes c, d takes c, Anish plays rook g8, a takes, b takes, rook a6. And here in this position, Anish went wrong. Knight f5, e5 would have been better. Because takes queen b6, and white does not have any problems. White is already slightly better. Yes, takes, and king h2. Of course, not much. Yes, knight e7, again, black is better. And now white is already slightly better. Attacking the pawn on d5. King g2, h5. Maybe threatening some knight g5 and stopping king g6. And knight h4. Knight g4 was much stronger. King is in some mating net. Yes, players are having less than 20 seconds. And bishop d8. Yes, position is anyway very unpleasant, but this is already lost. And knight h6. Knight e5 is the only move, and here Anish resigned, of course, because d takes c is also coming. Volodar Murzin won with the white pieces against Alexander Lenderman. Sevian Sadvani game ended in a draw. MBL drew against Rasmus Svane. Levon Aronian won with the black pieces against Bob. Zaven Andresian drew with the white pieces against Duda. Mamedjarov Deak drew. Haig Martirosyan game ended in a draw. Daniel Dubov drew the game against Sam Shankland. And another surprise is Brendan Jacobson won against Alexander Grishuk. And here in this position, a3, d6, bishop e3, bishop e7, bishop e2, short castle, queen d3, bishop d7, f4, e5, knight f3, knight g4, knight e5, bishop e6, bishop d2, e takes bishop takes f4, bishop f6, short castle, bishop b2, and here knight e5, knight e5. Already players are having less than 2 minutes. Knight e5 black is better. Till this moment, Grishuk was playing all the best moves. Rook b7, bishop g5 would have been better, which is like very strange move at least. Bishop d5 is fine, bishop e4 in different ways. Grishuk is fine, and here maybe slightly better, but I don't think. Queen d7, bishop g3, and let's rook e8. Grishuk blundered this bishop a4, and then bishop e8. And this is already closed for Grishuk. Bishop takes, rook f3, c4. And again, Grishuk got his chance. He maybe could push f5 or rook d4. He went rook d4, and again, position is quite complicated. Here's like e4, knight d3, queen f7. And here just queen f5. He went this, and he allowed rook d1, trade of the rooks. And f5 just to close this h7, b1 diagonal. Takes g3. And yes, if you move the knight, then you are losing the pawn. And of course, this is completely lost, c5, and you cannot really take on c5. Yes, and Grishuk resigned. I think because of this rook e8 blunder, but later on anyway, he got very good position. So Sindaro won, Robson won against Dudin, Narodzitsky won with the black pieces, Nepomniachtchi Durarbeli draw, Hong Andrew lost against Fabi, Tari Vei came ended in a draw, Alireza won with the white pieces against Andrei Volokitin, Nakamura won against Moroni, Nodirbek Abdusatorov won against Rakhmanov, Arjun won against Corrales, Prag won against Vokhidov, Onishuk lost against Nogerbek, but of course Nogerbek he won World Under-20 World Junior Chess Championship. Sarana against this one, I would Sarana with the white pieces lost against Jonas Bier. Yes, c5. Earlier we checked in this line Jeffrey against Grebnev. Bishop d2. Yes, it was, I guess it was c4, bishop c2, bishop g4, queen b1, something like that, or maybe even bishop c3. So knight c6, h3, c4, bishop c2, rook e8, stopping all possible knight e5 ideas, b3, bishop a6, and now white is in some small trouble. Knight e2, bishop a3, maybe bishop takes, queen takes, knight e4, bishop takes, pawn takes, knight h2, knight e5. Black is slightly better, maybe even close to much better, and this is already much better. h5 and f5, queen g5 is already -2, knight e2, b5, takes, knight f4, queen d1, takes, knight h2, takes. Yes, this is completely winning. Yes, you're losing your e1 rook. Ivanchuk Kobalya, game ended in a draw. Tsaruk Bortnik, game ended in a draw. Lu Svane, draw. Gelfand Bilich, Grigorian Khan Isik, game ended in a draw. So let's continue checking further. Round 5. And we do have, again, in my YouTube channel, you can find the video where I'm checking, analyzing the games, first 5 round games of Magnus Carlsen. That's why I'm not analyzing the game. Dominguez Sargisian, game ended in a draw. Aro, draw. Sindaro Sevian, draw. Sadvani Robson, draw. Narodzitsky Jacobson, Narodzitsky won. Caruana Svane, Lenderman Vachier, Shankland Alireza. Hikaru won with the white pieces against Zaven Andresian. And we see that Haik Martirosyan lost with the white pieces against Nodirbek Abdusatorov. We see that Duda won against Hans Niemann. Antipov Mamedjarov. Torarbeli Yu. Erigaisi won against Safarli. And we see that Prague lost with the black pieces against Nogerbek, who seems is having great tournament so far. Bishop d2. Yes, here g3, e3 are possible options. b6, bishop e2, bishop b7, short castle, a3, takes knight f d2. Very, very solid. Yes, and Prague started playing very risky. Yes, and this is already much better for white. Just look at bishop on b7 or knight on c7. White is ready for some e4. And e4, queen d4 was possible. Takes, knight b5. And this is already lost for Prague. And this is completely lost. Rook e7, rook h7, rook e1, blunder. Let's say rook g7 or rook h6 or rook c7 would have been much better. But Prague doesn't see some knight e6, which is knight 7 to e6. Knight g3, b4 would have been better. And now Prague is getting his chances, and here something like bishop b3 or rook d4. Yes, for example, b takes c, rook e1, I guess just king f2. Yes, but b takes c, not very obvious. Not very obvious. There's 94. And here Pragg resigned. I think out of the opening, Pragg didn't have any problems, but later on, he maybe in order to avoid getting dry position, he wanted to keep position quite complicated, but slowly he took much risks and lost again. Anish won with the white pieces against Donchenko. Dubov drew against Pierre. Deak Petrosyan drew. Vei drew against Nesterov. Andy Woodward drew against Yanni Pomnishi. Alexander Grishuk won against Muradli. Pranav won against Ivanchuk. Pranav won against Ivanchuk. And we see that Bortnik lost against Gan. Let's see, do we have any? Dudin lost against Bilubbaum. Karen Grigorian won against Bilich. Zaruk won against Mayer. Gelfand drew against Svane. Lushan Lei won against Vahidov. Yesipenko won against Kobalia. Bortnik lost. Ivanchuk and lost. Okay, let's check this this game. Of course, I don't think because Pranav's classical rating is above 2600. Just it is very interesting to see how he did manage to win against legendary Vasily Ivanchuk. D4, Queen D4, Queen C4. Wow. C3. Knight 2. Black is completely fine. And white is already better. Yes, here probably 95. For example, knight g4 was very interesting. Even this is just fine. Queen b6 if Ivanchuk would play queen b6. Even f takes c, this is also fine. Queen b6, just queen b6, queen e6, king h8. He played this, and this is already unpleasant, but not after knight f4, after knight d4, because this is again fine. And king f7, rook e7, slightly unpleasant. But this is already very unpleasant. Knight h5 is coming, and knight f6. And here, yes. After rook h8 or h5, what is much better, but on just blunder, some blunder, knight f4, and b4, rook takes d6, and here Ivanchuk resigned. Okay, let's continue. Round 6, having, and Magnus won. I don't think this was any. So this, e4, e5, bishop f4. Engine doesn't like this b6. No, likes a3, h5. But here a6 or a5 or rook b8, black is fine. Long castle, engine doesn't like. 95, 95, 95, b4. And now white is much better. Knight takes c5, takes, f3, takes, and this is winning for Magnus. Rook e1 takes, or rook e1, And like white is threatening some bishop b8 ideas. Yes, completely winning position for Magnus. And of course, Magnus won. Murzin Dominguez, game ended in a draw. Sargsyan Narodzitsky, game ended in a draw. Anish won against Levon. Sindarov Nakamura, draw. Abdusattorov won against Advani. Sevian Duda game ended in a draw. Arjun won with the black pieces. Fabi won against Nogerbek. And here we see that Alan pitched with the black pieces against MVL. Of course, no doubts that Alan can win against MVL or any other very top player, but just it's very he did manage, because let's not forget that last year Maxim is playing just amazing chess, I would say in that way. So b5 and knight a5, and Maxim goes short castle, d6, d4, takes, and rook e1. So takes, c5, and we go c3. Yes, Maxim was prepared. I'm thinking that Pichot Alan went for this b5 knight a5 to surprise Maxim, but we see that Maxim instantly, without even spending any time, went for this line. Seems he had this line prepared for a long time. And here knight h4, d4, knight d5, knight takes d5, he takes d5, short castle, knight f5, rook e8, bishop f4. Yes, seems like Alan knew this position, because d takes c, rook e1, queen e1, d takes c, and here d6 would have been the best. Rook d1, queen d7, knight e3, rook e8, f3, g6, queen d2, bishop g7, activating the bishop, h5, bishop d4, knight c2, rook e1, and h4, takes h3. That's why engine here likes just h3. And this is winning for black. Takes queen f5, g5, yes, completely winning position for Alan. And of course he managed to win without giving any hopes. Yes. Nice prep by Alan. Of course, MVL knew till some point, but Alan was blitzing out all the moves. Yes, great job. Alireza won, Mamediarov won, Yuyangi drew, Dubov Lazavi game ended in a draw, Petrosian lost against Grishuk, Yesipenko Durarbeli, Lucian Leibiere, and Bu games ended in a draw. Swane with the white pieces lost against Pranov. Karen Grigoryan won with the white pieces against Mamedov. Edgar, Brandon Jacobson won against Alexander Lenderman. Tsarok lost against Shankland. Bluebaum lost against Kanisik. Varujan Akopian lost against Gan. Vei lost against Teodoro. Of course, this one we should check. Yanni Pomnishi won. Wesley So won. And Prague won against Andy. And what other result? Jubayev won against Anton. And Gelfand drew against Makarian. Yes, another Grunfeld and h4 move. e6, h5, queen h4, queen c1. Definitely Nico Teodoro, he knew this move. Rook b1, bishop b5. And you can see that Nico did not even spend any time. Takes, but already on knight d4 he took some time. Bishop b4, rook c8 was played, not the best move. Mistake by Yi. Queen d1, and white is already much better. Knight f3, knight g5, and this is completely winning or much better position for white. Yes, maybe rook d1, bishop f6, but doesn't seem good. Bishop d3, knight c7, bishop d3, knight takes a8, bishop b4, knight c7, bishop b5, knight b5, and completely winning position. They continued fighting. Yes, completely winning position. Yes, very good game by Nico Teodoro, and very good prep by him. And from the opening he got so in this very well-known position he goes h4 and goes h5 and goes queen c1. Yes, takes, and bishop b7 or queen e4 are the moves, and here rook b1. Yes, this can be very interesting. Let's continue checking some other game. Magnus drew against Darda with the black pieces, but Magnus was in trouble. So we see g3, bishop e7, bishop g2, c6, a4, b6, g6, stopping knight f5, bishop e3, rook e8, f4, bishop a6, rook e1, bishop f8, knight f3. Black doesn't have any problems. Bishop g7, knight g4, or bishop b7 would have been better. And now d takes f5, but yes, Darda goes for d takes f5, and bishop f1, h3 would have been better. Black is already slightly better, maybe after queen b4, rook b1, knight c5, queen f3, knight takes, queen takes. Yes, here knight a2 for some reason, and then g4 after queen f8. Takes b3, Magnus goes queen b4, rook f2, and this is almost much better for black. Magnus goes queen c3, knight f1, queen b4 back, knight d2, b5, bishop g5, rook d6, c3, queen a5, knight f1. Yes, for example, g takes f, but seems not that easy to ruin your own pawn structure. And especially after queen f5, white has ideas to go knight e3, but I guess after queen f5 you are simply winning pawn on c3. So this takes, and b4, and knight e3, and this is already not worse for white. h5, stopping knight g4, rook f1, this h4, yes, king h1, g4, rook h2, f6, Yes, here we see that Darda is having less than 30 seconds and Magnus is having less than 2 minutes. And on King G8, Magnus spent all his time on knight f5. Yes, and here rook d3, queen h5, rook h3, and then the other rook comes to d3. But somehow, wow, very beautiful line. So this, and let's say you go this check, which is, and here you go this. And if knight e7 you take, and then rook g3, rook d g3, king f2, rook h2, king e1, rook e3, and then black is keep checking along on third. Yes, amazing. Magnus didn't see it. He went this, and this is completely lost. Yes, if Darda would have seen rook f2, he most likely would have won this game. King g1 and takes, and white is better, even maybe much better, but in time trouble, Darda decided to repeat the position. Of course, we should check and see how Daniel Narodzitsky won against Nodirbek Abdusatorov. Yes, white is slightly better. And now black is fine. Oh, knight e5, bishop f7, knight f7. Queen h4, knight e5. Yes, he takes d, knight d4, rook e d1. Now d takes c, d3. Queen takes f5, takes. King f7, black is much better. I mean, not much better, close to much better. Bishop c5, and after bishop c5, bishop e3, position is around equal. And yes, and f4. Knight d4 or rook e7 or rook e5. Yes, if f takes c, I guess just f takes c, and rook e4, then d2 is coming. And king f3, king f2 would have been better. And yes, knight e6. So this rook d1, even rook d1 and c5, and rook g1 and king e1, rook g7 is winning. f3, king c5, black doesn't have problems. This c6, and rook check, and rook d4, and yes, Daniel Narodzitsky won. It was like very complicated, chaotic, I would say, game. Dominguez drew against Giri, Eric Garcia against Murzin, Alireza against Shant Sargsyan, Shankland against Fabi, Nakamura against Sevian, Duda won against Brendan Jacobson, Alan Pichot against Mamediyarov, Grishuk won against Khan, who had a good tournament and who is having good tournament. Sindaro won with black pieces against Khan, and we do see that my good friends Pranav and Karen Grigoryan faced each other, and we played for the same team, Spanish team championship. d5, knight f3, knight d5. Wow. Yes, knight d4 is working, bishop c5 was working, bishop e7, bishop d3, c3. takes short castle, d5, bishop b5, d takes c, knight e5, and black is fine, and black is even better after knight g4, queen a4, and now white is better. Yes, black is playing rook d3 to stop d4 ideas. Black is trying to checkmate. Queen b5, h4, and bishop, no, g3 was played. Bishop takes f8 because, why not bishop takes f8? No, bishop f8 also works. And yeah, somehow this knight d5 move, maybe white got slightly better position, but later on black easily equalized and had all the chances to get slightly preferable position, but something went wrong when Karen Grigoryan started moved the bishop. He played bishop g4, after which position is very unpleasant for black. Yes, Boo, Nepomniachtchi game ended in a draw. Levon won against Nesterov. Lomasov saw game ended in a draw. Tari Yu Yangi. Tari has won. Tari lost. Lazavik Prague. Lazavik won. Yes, Lazavik is having another great tournament. Like he won against Magnus. Yes, he's playing very good. Dorarbeli Dubov, Nogerbek Robson, Yesipenko won against Biere, Jumabayev drew against Lu, Deak Teodoru, Deak won, Sadvani Gosh, Sadvani won, Isanjulov won against Donchenko. Let's see how it happened. Yes, 95 is the main move. Queen e2, short castle, d4, bishop f4, c3. b5, c5, f4, h4, f5, h5, g5 would have been much stronger. And d takes c, should be 1, c takes d. Yes, I would say very decent game by Aristanis and Zhulov. Soleimani drew against MVL, Bortnik won against Corrales, Gelfand won against, wow, we see Iran against, but probably, yes. Ram did not show up, of course. Muradli won against Lenderman. Hans lost against Rudik Makaryan. Oh, knight h5, h4, e3. C takes d, e takes f, short castle, rook c1, queen d1, bishop d3. Yeah, bishop d6, f5 was played. Bad move, 95, and now white is much better. White is much better. White is winning already. He went rook f8, probably he didn't see that Knight is on. He just forgot about knight on g6. Yes, but Rudik Makarian, very decent player. I played him many times during Title Tuesdays, and I'm suffering in our games. And he's very, very good in openings. Yes, Magnus won very classic game, I would say. Um, so they had. So this is already third attempt by Magnus playing the ideas and the lines from World Championship match. And this one was by Ding Liren, and Ding's team came up with this idea. And here takes before, knight c3, queen b3, b5. White is slightly better already. What time? When black went wrong? Like knight c3, queen b3, knight d4, b5. This is already slightly better. B takes, queen a4, offering this trade of the queens. D4, queen d1, threatening some knight a4, and I like very much this bishop d3. Engine shows rook c3 and rook c1, but I like this because now white has control over b file. Queen d1, rook b1. Yes, here Tari Aryan blundered knight e5, knight e5, d takes, and then knight b6 comes. And white is getting something significant, but Magnus didn't see it or preferred knight b6, rook b6, rook a b8. Probably one of the last chances for Tari. Yes, queen a2, there is rook a1, rook a4, and rook b3, and d takes c, and rook takes, and queen d5, and rook c3, rook c4, rook c5, and of course pawn doesn't go anywhere, and Magnus won. Duda won with the white pieces against Naroditsky. Sindarov Dominguez game ended in a draw. Shan Sargsyan lost against Arjun Erigaisi. Murzingiri game ended in a draw. Pranov lost with the white pieces against Grishuk. Fabi lost against Yesipenko. This game we can check. Yes, very interesting game by Andrei, who is in very decent form. Yes, rook e1, bishop takes, e5. Yes, knight d5, knight d5, takes d4. I think something similar against me some years back, Maze Sebastian played. Yes, d6. And yes, this is already slightly unpleasant. And queen d2. And bishop h6. And bishop g7. And rook e5. And rook e1. Knight d4, stopping all possible f6 ideas. And even here, if you go f6 with the idea to go e5, knight d4 comes. And h4 and h5, f4, queen f2. Here at some point, Andrei could push f5. Like here, for example. But here already he went. G takes f, queen g3 ideas are coming, and now rook d5. Now queen f4, queen e5 is coming, rook e7, queen e5. And yes, checkmate, or black is losing the queen. King f8, knight h7. Levon drew. Sam Sevian won against Alireza. Sam already won in a classical game also. Yes, this line. Alireza had a very decent position. Yes, Sam doesn't want to play h3 because of h4. He goes g3 and slowly tries to prepare this h3 g4, but he doesn't have that much time, and eventually he goes for knight d5, knight d5, bishop f5. Till some point, Alireza plays very good, and now knight a5 is a threat. That's why bishop d8 and f5. A5 is also a possible option. Knight f6, e4. Yes, for example, queen d5, queen d5, knight d5. Very interesting tactical idea. Yes, a5 or rook f8 or rook g6. Rook b8 with the ideas bishop b6. And now f takes c. Otherwise, black is in some trouble. Queen e1. Maybe knight d2. Because this is already obvious that white is better side. And this is already completely lost. And we see that Sam is having more than 2 minutes and Alireza less than 20 seconds. Yes, good game by Sam Sevian. Shankland lost against Hikaru. Nodirbek Abdusattorov won against Alan Pichot. Ahmediyarov Sadvani draw. Yuyangi Lazavik draw. Nepomniachtchi won against Isanjulov. Sodurabeli draw. Dubov Lamasov draw. Jumabayev lost against Ray Robson. Hong Andrew drew. Lushanlei won against Makarian. Gelfand won against Nogueira. Grigorian drew against Vakhidov. Luban won against Svane. Muradli won against Akopian. Jacobson and Dimpov draw. Gan Bu won. Baravian Khan draw. MVL lost against Darda. Wow. Let's see. Knight g6. Usually c4. King h1, e5, stopping f4, knight d2, knight c4, knight e3. Maxim had very good start of the tournament, but then suddenly he started losing against Pichot and against Darda. Yes, like equalized. Of course, white doesn't have any problems, but how did Maxim manage to lose this position? Slowly he is getting unpleasant position, but such a classy player like Maxim shouldn't lose this kind of positions. And especially this one. Yes, king d3 was played. King f1 is the only move. You cannot really stop king g3. White e1 with the black pieces. Nesterov lost. Prag won. And the final round. So far we see Erigaisi Duda, Grishuk Abdusattorov, Nakamura Murzin. Yes, won't go very deep into the game, just in this slightly preferable position for white. Hikaru blundered the pawn, and then very easily he equalized the position. Knight g5 probably would have been better, and even he got a slightly better position, and he started over pushing and knight d4 is the only move to keep the equality. He went this, and yes, here still he could go rook b6 and maybe knight b1. He went this, king c7, because if you go c3, then knight d4 comes, and king c7, and c3 is coming. Hikaru resigned against Murzin, Dominguez Yesipenko, Giris Sevyan, Narodzitsky Sindarov. Jan won. Jan played some very crazy Nimzo with a3 against Gelfand. Of course, Gelfand had many chances, opportunities to fight for getting advantage and being better. Something at some point went wrong for legendary Boris Gelfand. Aronian Blue Bomb draw. Shant Sargsyan had equalized more or less easily, but then some problems appeared. Sadvani Yuyangi draw, Bu Robson draw. Lazavik won very easily, just only 16 moves against Lu Shanlei. This is unbelievable. Yes, all this, and d5 and f4. This is already unpleasant position for black. This takes. And this is very unpleasant, and this is already close to lost. And I don't know. This is already +3. Takes bishop h7. Bishop h7, queen h5 is coming. Murad Lideak game ended in a draw. Caruana won with the white pieces against Pranav. Very complicated game. Vei won against Paravian. Alireza won against Honk. Darda drew against Wesley. Jeffrey against Lomasov. Bragg won with the black pieces against Durar Bailey. Dubo won against Liang. Boarding Isanjulov Anton. Karen Grigorian drew against Bere. Vahidov against Shankland. Antipov won against Gosh. Pichot lost against Jacobson. Kolokitin drew against Khan. Nogerbek against Le Kwang. Sarana lost against Jumabayev. Let's check this game. And takes a4. I see 4, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, and white is already much better. And white is already winning. White is already completely winning. No, not that easy. Much better for white. Yes, another blunder, because if I go rook g8, probably f takes g comes. Yes. Yes, Jumabayev played very good game, and we cannot say the same for Alexei Sarana. Okay, thank you very much, dear friends. We checked all the surprising, unexpected outcomes, results from to round 9. Thank you very much. Hope you liked this video and this format. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's see what will follow with all these chess dramas that we are having. Thank you.